Hey everyone, today I thought I'd go through some of the new Chaos Legion cards. These will be coming in the packs, and it has some really nice looking art. I really love the direction they're going with the art. Um, my favorites would probably have to be the the one with the eyeball, the Cursed Wendigo. And in the AMA, we got a bunch of these names. We only didn't get this one, which I'm putting as the Greyborn because it's the same person. And I think these are going to be interesting. They said specifically that card art is going to dictate which kind of abilities, what stats they get. So we can actually make some speculations. So first off, I'm going to put 3 mana for these 2 rare summoners because that's what they've always been doing. I believe that they're going to continue with this trend. I don't see a reason why they would change the mana for rare summoners. First, Jin Mirat, he looks like he uses magic. Cursed Wendigo, well, he doesn't have any way to use ranged attacks and he's obviously quite melee. Silent Shavi, well, it's a snake, and it probably has sneak and camouflage, as I'll show later on. This guy has a crossbow, he obviously is ranged, and Regal Paraton doesn't look like it has any way to use ranged or magic attacks. For Queen Mycelia, I'm not sure, but I'll go over that later. So I think Obsidian could be a +1 ranged summoner. Considering the lore that they gave us, they said Obsidian uses earth magic to take things out of the ground and throw it at people. So I'd imagine that she'd buff ranged attacks, but she could also debuff. But I think they're going to release some +1 summoners in Chaos Legion because we're losing almost all of them. If not all of them, all of the rare +1 summoners we're losing in the new rotation when beta and alpha get rotated out. So then we have Queen Mycelia. Here's an idea of, I think they're going to go with something like this for the fungus, but so essentially the fungus is kind of parasitic and it just feeds on insects, essentially killing them, but also using them to keep growing. So I think it'd have Life Leech for sure. Scavenger I'm not sure about, but I feel like it could also, instead of this, go with like Tank Heal or Strengthen and something like that, but this is what I think they're going to go with. She doesn't look like she's going to be throwing things, or she does, and she also doesn't look melee. So I think she can only really have magic damage. And then Jin Mirat, he reminds me a lot of Harclaw. But since he's a Jin, he's definitely going to have magic damage. He looks like he could have Weaken. I think he's going to have 8, just judging from the card art, but I could totally be wrong on the for this card specifically. I know that he's going to definitely have magic though. And the next card, Silent Shavi, reminds me a lot about Jin Biljka. I mispronounced that for sure. And he has, his lore is essentially that it comes out of the shadows and attacks people. So obviously it's going to be sneaky and camouflage would only make sense. But it also doesn't look like a high mana cost card because it's like kind of just a snake. So I'm giving it, I think it'll have 3 mana, and obviously it's a common card, so I don't think they're going to give it more than 1 in each stat, or else it'd be kind of overpowered compared to some of the other cards. And especially when comparing to Jin Biljka, who only has 1, 1, and 2 at 3 mana, even though he's a legendary with camouflage. Yeah, Silent Shavi is definitely not going to be that strong. So next, the card art obviously shows Scavenger for Cursed Wendigo. Wendiku. And Regal Periton. I don't think I spelt this right. So this is definitely going to have flying. And then some combos I think might happen. Venari Seedsmith, if Obsidian actually gets this +1 range, that's going to be a very, very strong combo. Renan was really broken, and he just gave, the main reason people used him was for the +1 ranged, although the +1 speed and health helped. But having +1 ranged in any situation is going to be very strong. We have cards like Javelin Thrower. Wait, that's rotating out. So we won't have Javelin Thrower. We'll have Mythica Hunter. And also keep in mind that if Obsidian gets this +1, I don't think the Water Summoner is going to get +1. I think +1 ranged at least. I think they're going to try and keep each of these summoners unique, especially if they're in the same set. So I don't see a Water +1 ranged after Obsidian's release. Alright, after seeing what Obsidian might be. But I could totally be wrong. Obsidian might not be +1 ranged. Yawa could watch this video and out of spite just choose not to give her +1 ranged. So I wouldn't bet on it, but I think it's a safe guess. Yeah, we don't really have any info for much of the other cards. Greyborn might be a snipe, no idea. Thaddeus Rude, we have no kind of indication to what he might be. We don't have any lore of him. I think because Aggie cut in talking about the skull. So, and that wasn't really confirmed. That was kind of like a joke, but it might... We have no idea right now. And Silent Shavi, I think that one's a very safe guess. I don't see it happening in any other way. Cursed Wendiku, I feel like he could be a 5 or 7, like kind of a frontline tank with Scavenger. But if he's a frontline tank with Scavenger, the only way this is going to start proccing is if you have stuff to sack and the opponent goes like a sneak or opportunity comp. Alright, that's it. So what do you think these cards will get? If you have any ideas, just feel free to put them in the comments or come over to our Discord server, which is in the description. We try to help out new players, especially if you're new, come over. If you're a veteran, still come over. We can do some theory crafting if you're into that. Maybe have some practice games. And tonight I'm going to be streaming at twitch.tv/dolonite at 8 p.m. PHT. Alright, see ya.